Thanks, life. Appreciate it very much. What would I do without you? So I cried for a few days straight, as any grown man does when they face a challenge. This is the universal signal, by the way. I know sign language. Don't question me. Pew pew. Pew 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 pew. Pew pew. Eat some popcorn. Laugh at me. Say, look at this idiot. Hey, honey, come check out a stupid idiot. I know what you're doing. Well, welcome back to Ryan Campbell, SOUPEDTONUTS. Thank you for stopping by. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing and give me a thumbs up. Haha, thank you. Appreciate it. On this video, gonna be diagnosing a problem. The wheels don't want to spin. Transmission problems coming right up. You are tuned in to Ryan Campbell, SOUPEDTONUTS. Well, how the, I don't know, I got nothing here. Got nothing. So, I've come down off my high of the car starting up. I mean, it was exciting. But life, as it does oftentimes, has brought me back down to earth. Grabbed my ankles up out of the sky and yank! Thanks, life. Appreciate it very much. What would I do without you? So, the problem is that the rear wheels don't want to spin. Put it through all the gears while it was running. Nothing. Not a punch. Nothing. Nothing. At all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. So I cried for a few days straight, as any grown man does when they face a challenge. You cry for a while. I cried. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. I'll leave that up to you. Yeah, so the rear wheels aren't spinning. At first, I started to do a little brainstorming and thinking off camera. I thought maybe it was a clutch issue. I bled it once. It probably does need to be bled again anyway, but I don't have anybody here right now helping me. But I bled it once. Didn't do anything. Tried again. Didn't do anything. And then, so I was like, you know what? Let me just, disconnect the whole slave cylinder off the transmission and just take the clutch out, or at least, the clutch line and the cylinders, the master and slave cylinder, out of this equation altogether. Nothing. Pull them off, still nothing. I kind of at a loss. Everything's still hooked up, besides the slave cylinder I do have hanging down. But everything else, I don't know. I spun the drive shaft by hand. Everything spins freely. When I spin the drive shaft by hand, it spins the rear axles, spins the rear wheels. I don't have the actual wheels on, but it spins, the hubs, it spins the rotors, all that crap. Everything spins fine. Nothing's binding or nothing like that. It spins very freely by hand. I mean, as freely as it's supposed to. And so I don't know. So I'm going to bring you along this journey. My guess, I'll probably have to drop the trans and try to figure out what the hell happened. I mean, the trans is up tight. The bell housing is up tight to the engine block. So, I mean, the shaft, the input shaft of the trans is the input shaft of the trans. This is the universal signal, by the way. I know sign language. Don't question me. This is the input shaft, by the way. And this is the engine block and the flywheel and everything like that. If it wasn't lined up and in the shaft, why would I have been able to bolt it up tight? Only thing I could think of is the transmission is off of the engine that was originally in this particular car. The engine and everything else was out of the other 350Z that got in an accident with. They're both DEs. They're both 2003s. It should be the same damn transmission outside of, different wear and tear. But as far as the way everything lines up, as far as I'm concerned, it should be the same part number as far as I know. I could be wrong, but I can't think of too much else. But, I mean, I'm just going to start slowly taking stuff apart and see if I find. First, I'm going to try and drop the drive shaft. I'm going to take the drive shaft down, and I'm going to try to put my phone, using the camera, up behind where the drive shaft plugs in, and then try to crank it over, see if I can see it spinning in there. I doubt it, but, you know, might as well just, I'm at a loss here. What I'm going to do just to show you what's going on, I'm going to set up the camera at the rear wheel, and then I'm going to crank it over. You're going to hear it cranking over, and you're going to see the wheel not spinning. If you see the wheel spinning, this video probably won't be out because somehow magically the problem will have solved itself, and I'm just talking to myself just for the sake of talking to myself. But you're going to see the rear wheel not spinning. You're going to hear it cranking. I'm going to show you. I'm going to start it in gear. I'm going to have it in gear. I'm not actually going to start it. I have the fuel pump fuse pulled out right now because it was flooding the engine. It was running rich as shit and flooding the hell out of the engine, so I don't want to keep doing that. It's also doesn't run great and everything, so I don't want to just keep running it for no reason. So, but I'm going to crank it over. And as you know, a lot of people know, if you have a car in gear, like a manual transmission car in gear, when you try to start it, it'll lunge and jump forward. You probably won't start it, but then the car will start jumping forward. So, I mean, it moves the rear wheels. So, it has no resistance right now because the wheels aren't on the ground. So it should start anyway. But that's not going to start because I don't have the fuel pump fuse in. But you'll hear it cranking over. It'll be in gear. I'll show you. I'm going to put it in gear on camera. And then I'll set you up to wash the rear wheels, and they're not going to spin. So then I'm just going to go step by step. If I have to drop the trans and all that, I'm probably not going to be able to film too much. I might bring the camera underneath a few times, but it's hard to set up the camera. I don't have a lift or anything, so it's hard to set up the camera underneath the car while I'm working. I don't want it to get in the way or banged around. It's hard, period, to set up the camera up under the car anyway. So welcome to my hell, baby! Welcome to my hell! Alright, so let's get backed up. As you can see, it's in neutral, the universal neutral shuffle. So I'm going to put it in second. So, boom, second. You probably heard it too. So it's in second right now. See? Nothing. Not a gosh darn thing. Nada. So, next step now, I'm going to take the drive shaft out. I'm going to take you underneath. You can see that everything's still hooked up and all that crap. And then we'll go one step at a time. Drive shaft into the transmission. Transmission there. I'll show you back here. So drive shaft into the rear differential. And there's one axle. It's a passenger axle. And it's kind of hard to see. You can see that's the end of the driver's side axle. So I'm gonna spin the drive shaft by hand, and you can see. Yes, you can see one side there. See it spinning? That's spinning. That guy's spinning. Not too fast, obviously, but it is moving. So everything is still hooked up. I'll show you a better view up front of everything bolted together in the block. I gotta move for that though. But and also when I was spinning it, you can kind of hear. I don't know if a microphone's gonna pick up, but you kind of hear a little clunking, so it's in gear. And when it's in neutral, it spins slightly freer, and you don't hear the transmission clunk, like the gears kind of you kind of hear the gears spinning a little bit and kind of grinding, not grinding together, but you can kind of hear them as you should. This is a good spot you can see right here. So this is the engine block. This is the transmission. You can see they're flush together. So basically I have everything hooked up. The only thing I I have the, this is the clutch slave cylinder hanging down out of place. It, normally it goes like right in here where my fingers wiggling, and then it presses against here. This is the fork that pushes the clutch, that pushes on the, throw-up bearing onto the clutch. So you can see everything's still bolted tight. I know I don't get great angles down here, but kind of see like here, engine block, transmission. So you see the slight different colors. This engine block, this transmission, you can see they're tight. You see the same thing here, engine block, transmission. They're tight. I don't know what's going on, but I guess I'll figure it out as I go. First step, drive shaft. Pew pew! Pew 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 pew! So, I've gotten some stuff done. Haven't found a problem yet. Got the drive shaft out. I'll show you in a second. I got the drive shaft out. Nothing wrong there. I took the drive shaft out. I made a mark in the back of, I guess, the output shaft. I guess it was called. The back of the transmission. Then I went and manually cranked the engine over, like a crank pulley bolt. So I cranked the engine over a little bit. Didn't move, didn't budge. So basically, transmission is not. It was in gear. Transmission is not engaging with the engine. It's not. Why, I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out. But so got some stuff done. I'm gonna show you underneath. Wow, what I've got done so far. This is where the drive shaft plugs in. I don't know if you can see on camera. I made a little mark here on the back of this shaft. A little mark right there. So it didn't move at all. So that's where the drive shaft slides into the transmission. See the transmission. I already disconnected the shifter. So the shifter's disconnected. There was, you can see that pipe there, a Y pipe. And there's a drive shaft over there too. The black is the drive shaft. So the Y pipe for the exhaust I took out because it's going to get in the way. So there's one part of the Y is the other part of the Y, and then it bolts up to right here. So that's out. So I bolted a few things also under here. I already took out the slave cylinder. So I unbolted the whole slave cylinder, which goes right here. I have for the downpipe, there's, you can see better on this side. There's a rod that's welded to the pipe that goes and bolts up to the transmission, basically for support. So I took those two out. There's these two brackets here for like wiring support. Got them out. And I also got the crank angle sensor, which is right here. Really, right there. So I got the crank angle sensor out. I still got to pull some of this wiring stuff out. Obviously, still have to disconnect the rear transmission mount. But before I do this part, I'm going to get most of the transmission unbolted. And the hard bolts are like up top. I can't even see them, let alone the camera see them. But there's two bolts up top. I'm pretty sure. There's on each side. There's one bolt kind of high, which I think I can get from down here. There's another bolt. You can see right there, kind of below. This is the dump tube for the wastegate. So you can see the one bolt right there. Similar on the other side. On the other side, there is two bolts also for the starter. That bolts the starter on, and there's also a couple little bolts that like kind of come from the engine into the transmission. Which you can see the back of the holes. There's the back of the hole and back of the hole right there. So gotta get them out as well. I think the two really hard ones are gonna be the up top. And so basically that should get the job done. So once I get the two bolts up top, I'm hoping this one won't be a problem, but there might be a little bit of clearance. Once it starts backing out, it might hit the downpipe, or the dump tube, I mean. I hope not. I hope I don't have to mess with the dump tube because it's kind of a headache. It's a lot of headache. It is definitely a headache. And so I'm hoping I can get that bolt out, at least unthreaded, so it's not holding it to the engine without touching this. And it might have a similar problem on the other side, but I'm going to find out as we go. But I'm going to take the 2 top ones off first, then take these 2 hard ones, and then just go, do it as I go it. Go it as I do it. Probably do these guys last. You can get away with taking these 2 bolts, there's 2 bolts there, and then a lot of times, I think the last time, if I was dropping the engine with it, I think I just left this on and dropped the whole thing straight down to the ground, because I dropped the subframe as well. But here, I need a little wiggle room, and there's a chance, you can kind of see the exhaust. It might hit the exhaust. So I'm going to take these 2 bolts, those 2 bolts, to get the bracket off the frame of the car. And then I'm going to take this bolt here, where this bolt holds basically, kind of see there's a mount, this metal here is a mount. So this bolt here holds this onto the mount, onto the mount here. So if I take the 4 bolts out and then this bolt, this black bracket should completely separate and get out of my way. That's the plan so far, pal! I basically got the transmission out, and I actually did basically have it all completely unbolted and started to pull it off. But it was hitting. So there's the dump tube here, this guy. Here, right here, how close it is. Once you start pulling the trans off, like where the bolt is, hits the pipe. And the same thing was happening on this side. But I got the pipe off. That's the wastegate there, so that's where the tube was bolted to. And as you can see, it's pretty damn tight up here in this area. So it was very hard. Basically, it's bolted on. There's a Allen key, a hex nut, hex bolts that goes through, and like a regular nut on the other side, so you have to hold both sides to be able to get it off. So that was fun. That took a while, but I finally got it off. So now I only have a couple bolts in the trans holding it into place for right now. It's still like fairly taken apart. So it's time to get this girl out of here. It should come out now that there's clearance here, so I should have enough room to be able to pull the whole trans straight out. But wish me luck. You handsome boy, figure some things out. So I got the damn trans out, and I'm pretty sure I found the problem, what was going on. Let's go under, and I'll show you. Fairly certain it's that pivot ball. The fork, that's the throw-out bearing. That's the fork. On this end right here is where the clutch slave cylinder pushes on to push the throw-out bearing in and out. And there's kind of a pivot point sort of in the middle of it. And that pivot point is that ball. So basically it sits on that ball, and that's where it kind of seesaws there. That is longer by about a half an inch than the one out of the other transmission. This transmission is out of this car, but this engine is out of the other 350Z. And the other transmission, obviously, is out of the other 350Z. But that pivot ball, I already took it out of the other one, is about a half inch longer than this one. So basically, what it's doing is pushing the throw-out bearing there out too far, like closer to the end, too close to the engine by about 3/4 of an inch or so. And that's basically pushing on the pressure plate, which kind of in effect is like holding the clutch in at all times. And as anybody knows, you hold the clutch in at all times, you ain't going nowhere. Nothing's spinning, nothing's moving. It's not going to happen. Unless you have a blown clutch or something, but that's the problem. I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to change these out. and get everything back together. Something so small. I don't know why they're different. I really don't know why. I'm sure somebody might know that there's some kind of difference of some sort, but I'm not that guy. I never touched either one of these. On either transmission, I never touched that pivot. I cleaned it up and put grease on it, but other than that, I never touched it. I never changed nothing. I never changed, swapped anything or nothing like that. So I don't know what the hell is going on. But that should be my problem. I'll get her back together and we'll have a little dance. Dancy in the pantsy. Hey, 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 hey. So, somewhat fairly decently confident that I found the problem, but you're gonna have to stay tuned for the next video to find out if I genuinely fixed the problem or not. Life is tough. Deal with it. This video honestly is going to be getting too long for this whole job, so basically, I'm going to make 2 videos out of this process, this situation that I'm dealing with. So, more content for you, more content for me. We're all happy. But you got to come back for the next video installment of transmission problems on Soup to Nuts. Life is tough. It's a tough one. It's a toughie. Just be happy you're not actually dealing with the actual problem, and that you'd have to go through all the actual crap I had to go. You just got to sit there, eat some popcorn, laugh at me, say, "Ha, look at this idiot. Hey, honey, come check out a stupid idiot." I know what you're doing. I know. I got my eye on you. But anyway, so you're gonna have to stay tuned for the next. Hopefully, it works. But tune in for the next video to find out if that little pivot ball thing that's one's a little shorter actually fixed the problem or not. You're going to have to stay tuned to find out. Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Cheryl. This guy's an idiot. Stay tuned for that crap for the part 2 of 2, hopefully. Hopefully it's good to go. Hopefully everything's taken care of, squared away, and so I can call up the tutor and schedule the tutor, because this is the only real actual problem that I found so far. So, wish me luck. Comment, wish me luck. So that's going to be the next video, is part 2 of this saga. Stay tuned for the saga. But other than that, I don't know. How's the wife and kids? How the holidays going for you? I don't know. Hey, how's it hanging? Please subscribe down here. I'd very much appreciate it. Very, 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 very much. Like, comment, all that good crap. And also share this in your socials. Check me out on my other socials that are listed down below. I'd appreciate it. Check out some of my other videos too. Por favor, damn it. I demand you do that now. But in the meantime, I would suggest that you drive fast, take chances.